March Madness is here. The NCAA has just revealed the men's and women's tournament brackets, and the road to the championship is officially set.
And check out that graphics department. That was pretty cool
right?
with the bouncing ball. Joining us to break it all down for you are ESPN's bracket gurus, Joe Lunardi and Charlie Creme. Thank you both for being here with us. Joe, let's start with you and the men's bracket. Do you think they got it right? Are there any people that got snubbed?
I think West Virginia was certainly the biggest snub in favor of North Carolina. It's been a national story on why and how the Tar Heels were selected with only one win in what the NCAA deems quad one, the highest level of competition. But be that as it may, North Carolina certainly with a great history in the tournament and a little less than almost heaven in West Virginia this morning. But that would be my one quibble with the committee, having slept on it.
All right, Joe, so which team has the potential to become a Cinderella story?
I think the best true mid-major in the country is and has been for several years now St. Mary's College in Moraga, California. They have the two-time West Coast Conference Player of the Year in Augustus Marciulionis, whose father, of course, was an NBA All-Star and a Naismith Basketball Hall of Famer. They've got a draw of Vanderbilt here in the first round and potentially Alabama. So two SEC teams. Alabama in particular would be the complete opposite of St. Mary's. They're deep, they're fast, they score a lot of points. But, you know, the Gales are one of those sneaky, slow-you-down teams. So I like them to maybe pull one or two upsets here in the first weekend.
All right, Joe, I'm going to get right to it. Who you got in your Final Four?
Well, I'm sorry, that information's classified, and we'll not be able to give that out.
Great answer.
A national platform. Look, I think Florida and Duke have been the two best teams since maybe the Super Bowl. So I'm going to go with a final of Florida and Duke. And even though Duke presumptively has the best player in the tournament in Cooper Flagg, and he should be healthy by late March or early April, Florida really has the depth and talent to give Duke trouble up front. So I'm going to go the SEC champion Florida Gators to cut down the nets in San Antonio.
All right, Joe, we'll be watching to see if you're right. Let's talk to Charlie now. Charlie, let's talk women's basketball. What are the big matchups to keep an eye on?
Well, I think when we talk about women's basketball, you don't see the upsets that you necessarily see in the men's game. So I think a lot of our really big matchups are going to come later in the tournament. A number one seed has won the national championship 11 out of the last 12 years, and nobody lower than a number 3 seed has ever won the national championship. But if you really get down to the matchups we're really looking forward to seeing, USC and UConn are in the same bracket. So one of those teams will not make the Final Four. They played each other last year in the Elite Eight, the same round they would meet this year, and they played each other earlier in the season. USC won the game in Hartford earlier in the year. UConn won the game last year in the NCAA tournament. It was the highest rated women's college basketball game of the season. If we get that game again in the Elite Eight, it's a little disappointing it won't be in the Final Four, but it'll certainly be a game we're all looking forward to.
So I'm curious, what are those under-the-radar teams that you're keeping your eye on right now?
Well, one of them, it's a big name. It's Notre Dame. And people are going to say, well, how are they under the radar? 3 weeks ago, they were the number one team in the country. But they've really slumped in the last few weeks. They lost 3 of their last 5 games. And they fall all the way to a number 3 seed. And if a number 3 seed wins the national championship, it's still a story. And I know Notre Dame's a big brand and a big name, and they have Olivia Miles and Hannah Hidalgo, 2 of the best players in the country, both guards. But if Notre Dame gets to the Final Four, wins the national championship, that would still be big news because they are a 3 seed.
All right, Charlie, Joe just put out his Final Four for the world to see and hear. Give us your Final Four.
Well, I think UConn will win that game against USC and get to the Final Four again. I have UCLA. They're a number 1 seed. I have them going. South Carolina also going to the Final Four as a number 1 seed. And I am going to pick the Irish to get to the Final Four as well. I have to have somebody a little bit off the 1 or the 2 line to get there. and Notre Dame's going to be my pick to do that.
I love how when Charlie said South Carolina, Eva did this little pivot right here. Like, did you hear that? I heard it.
Yes.
I heard it loud and clear.
I am a proud Gamecock. It's so lovely to have you both. ESPN correspondents Joe Lunardi and Charlie Creme, thank you both. And if you want to test your bracketology skills and join the tournament fun, scan that QR code right there on the screen to download ESPN's Brackets game.
Should be a lot of fun.